Sharelle, it can't be easy being here and seeing yourself over posters around town. You're on the front cover of the main program. How are you feeling about being here?
Yeah, it's a really interesting feeling being here. When I landed into Singapore on Sunday night, I thought, I'm not really sure that this is a good idea. But on Monday morning, I was having a bit of a wander around the area where we're staying and ran into Coxie and Nat Von, and we grabbed a coffee together. So that was really nice. And in the end, I was actually just really excited to have the games underway. I know it's been such a build-up for a long time for the team and for all the girls. So overall, excited to be here and feeling pretty good, although it was a little bit emotional seeing them walk out onto court and wishing I was out there with them.
Do you find people are recognising you and wanting photos taken in the street, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm actually getting quite a few photos taken, not necessarily in the street, but definitely a lot at the stadium. You know, I was trying to sit up in the stands and have a little bit of a look at some of the games, and I'm not very good at being incognito. I think I need a better disguise. And the hotel that I'm staying at, there's a big contingent of Kiwi supporters, of Silver Fern supporters, so it's actually a really nice atmosphere. Heaps of people obviously travelled here to Singapore to support their teams, which is great.
Last night you called the game on ABC Radio. Was that your first full-time call of a game, and how did you find that?
Yeah, I'm working with ABC Radio, calling all the Australian matches while I'm over here, which is great. Obviously, I've done a little bit of work with Channel 10 and 1 on the commentary before, but working on radio is very different. We've got a 2-hour broadcast time slot and no breaks and no vision, so you can't sort of let the game play out. It's fairly full on, actually. I was a bit exhausted after I called the first game against Samoa, but it's a really great experience. I'm working with Simone Thurtell, and she's just so professional, and I'm learning a lot.
So as you're watching from up there in the stands, do you start to get a different feeling? Do you still feel like that's your team playing down there, or do you become an observer?
No, I felt like during the game I became an observer. It didn't feel like I was longing to be out there too much, and I guess part of that is because I'm calling the game, so I need to be in that mode, in that headspace. So I actually think for me on a personal level it's quite nice to have that to do as I'm here watching and supporting the girls, and it was great. I just they're so impressive when they walk into a stadium, so it was really actually nice to see that from a different perspective.
And what was your take on the game last night?
I was really impressed with the first game last night for the Diamonds against Samoa. It was fantastic to see Erin Bell get out there for her very first match for Australia, and playing both wing attack and goal attack, which is a bit of a challenge for her, no doubt, in her first game, but she handled it so well. And I think it was fantastic that all the athletes got out there, got their first game out of the way, so all those nerves and the build-up that happens in a World Champs is out of the way, and I was impressed. I think that they've certainly got some improving to do, and I'm sure that they'd acknowledge that, but I was really impressed with their first game. The athletes selected in this group of 12 fit it's really hard to pick a starting 7, and I think that's a real bonus, and I think it's a real strength of the group that we even saw it last night that Kath Cox and Nat Medhurst played in the shooting circle for the first half, and then Caitlin Bassett came on and completely changed the dynamics because of the different style that she brings into the game. So we saw that up that end and definitely down the defensive end as well. So I think it's harder for opposition teams to look at that and create a game plan because there can be so many different combinations that we can put out there, and hard for the other teams to prepare, which is great for us.
And I think Northern Ireland are a bit of an unknown quantity. Have you got any insight into what might be on the cards for the Diamonds tonight?
Yeah, a little bit of an unknown quantity with Northern Ireland. I had a little bit of a look at in their game against Sri Lanka yesterday, and nothing too outstanding. I think that they play sort of a fairly similar style to the Aussies. There's not zone defence too much that they throw out there. They're quite a short team, so it'll be interesting to see how they cope on some of our taller athletes. I don't know who the starting 7 is for the Aussies, but Chelsea Pittman out on wing attack is a very tall wing attack, so we've got quite a bit of height there, which they may not match up that well against. So It'll be a fairly good win for the Aussies today, I guess, against Northern Ireland, and they'll just be looking at the way they play the game and the way they execute the goals that they've got.
And Sharelle, how are you finding Singapore? Have you had a chance to get out and about and have a look around?
I only arrived a couple of days ago, so I haven't had much of a chance to look around, and I've actually been here a couple of times. We were here in the lead up to the Kuala Lumpur Commonwealth Games for a week with the Australian team as an acclimatisation camp, and then came again a few years later with Melbourne Phoenix for a bit of a trip. So I've experienced Singapore, but it's changed a lot, and there's so many beautiful areas, and the development is amazing, and it's so clean and pristine, and everyone's incredibly friendly. So my experience has been great so far, and I'm really looking forward to getting out and about and experiencing the city more.